Previously on The Walking Dead.
As usual, you were not expecting me. I'm sure you can recognize who I am, but if you don't, let me introduce myself. It is I who worship God for thousands of years. I was the greatest of all slaves. My beauty lifted the hearts of the crowds. My light outshined the stars. And I was determined to ascend above the clouds to the high secrets of God. And it happened. My wish was granted. It was a dream come true. I was rewarded by my creator to be amongst the finest angels, the most loved. I was adoring all my eminence until your father, Adam, was created. I cannot believe that I, the greatest of all, had to prostrate to an insignificant human made from clay. Difficult it was. I refused. I said no to the Almighty. I worshipped God for thousands of years. For how long had Adam served him? Why was Adam given the whole earth to rule? Clearly, I deserved it all, without a doubt. I am the one to rule and command the earth. Since the day of my refusal to kneel, I turned into the worst creature, became the enemy of God and his faithful servants. God promised me to enter hell on the day of judgment and to be held there for eternity. All this has happened because of you. I hate and envy you the same way I envied your father. Since you were born, I have been sinfully harming your life. I will not enter hell. I want you to share the pain with me, and the curse that will descend upon me. I want to see you burn, cry, and scream as I will. Do you wish to know how I will achieve this? I will uncover the secrets behind my deceptions, the cunning tricks, the manipulation of strategies, and use it all to lead you towards sin. I will show you how I enter the heart of mankind to cause corruption in the world. You must be wondering why I would reveal my secrets to you. Don't worry. You will forget it all by the end of our practice. To start, I want to clear a misconception you might have. Sadly, I have no power to force you to sin. Only by influencing your free will can I drive mankind to disobey. My grand agenda aims to strip the world from religious beliefs. My strategy to mislead you is very simple. I first try to drag you to infidelity and associating partners with God, which is the greatest sin. If you resist and don't get tricked, I like this one. I then put a plan B.
The second item in Shaitan's agenda for the human race is bid'ah. You see, if Shaitan fails to make you fall into the traps of shirk, which is La ilaha illallah, he will strive to make you fail Muhammadur Rasulullah. You see, that's where he begins. La ilaha illallah. If you're solid on Tawheed, then he's gonna come after Muhammadur Rasulullah.
And he tries to take you away from the way of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
من الذي خان ومن الذي يخون إخوان المسلمين.
Even I'm uncomfortable with the wording, Sheikh. I swear to God. Whether it's Salafi or Najdi or even Wahhabi, these terms, I personally feel uncomfortable because I know it covers such a huge spectrum, but we know what we're talking about. We're talking about a very rigid, uncompromising interpretation of, let's say, Asma wa Sifat or Tawassul Istighathas and these types of topics, which can and are obstacles to Muslim unity, right? So if you're saying, and you've basically said just earlier that some aspects of these creedal points can be an obstacle to unity, so therefore you know that what you had taught over the period of time, that now there's a sense of responsibility to perhaps give a
softer version, an alternative version to remove those obstacles. Would that be then correct?
Yes.
ما في جماعة شوهت الإسلام ودمرت المسلمين. يا أخي دمروا سوريا، دمروا العراق، دمروا اليمن، دمروا ليبيا، فتنوا السودانيين، دمروا مصر. ما في جماعة دمرت المسلمين وشوهت الإسلام أبدا على الإطلاق مثل جماعة الأخوان المسلمين.
In the year 2007, there was a pledge that was signed, a pledge of mutual cooperation and understanding. So, there's a gathering of these people. We refer to them as the Jahmiyyah, and we refer to them as the grave worshipping Sufis. These people, like Hamza Yusuf and Muhammad ibn Adam al-Kawthari, who is from this country, and he is someone who says, he's a Jahmi. He denies Allah is above his throne, and he calls to the worship of the dead in their graves, because he justifies al-istighatha, seeking rescue from other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is known. And likewise we have people like Zaid Shakir, who is an American, and he is someone who denies that Allah is above his throne because he is a Jahmi. He is diseased with that kalam. So these people are the same people that were present in the time of Imam Ahmad. However, we have another group of people who claim to be upon the way of the Salaf, and so what they do is that they come together and they sign a pledge. And in this pledge, what the basic gist of this pledge is, that yes, basically we are all from Ahlus Sunnah, broadly speaking, and despite all the variations and differences that we have had historically, all of us can be broadly said to be from Ahlus Sunnah. And so therefore, we should cooperate with each other, we should not criticize each other, we should accept that our differences are genuine differences, that the scholars have never been able to resolve in all those centuries.
These schisms, these sects will remain no matter what we want. So let's try to do something that we all agree to, and that is to make the world a better place. Let Allah be the judge. Let Allah be the judge.
So what are we supposed to do? So we should cooperate, we should have an understanding, and we should not refute each other, not warn against each other, and create a cordial understanding.
Some of the people took an initiative to get all these groups together, and they got together in Cardiff in UK, and they wrote out, it's not a pledge or a oath of allegiance or whatever people call it, it's just an agreement, simple agreement. So we agree on certain things. So what was the agreement? The agreement was simply that we would not publicly disgrace each other or speak about our da'wah derogatory in terms of one group to another group, or publicly name each other in the media. Okay, that was a real purpose of it, or at least that was my understanding of it.
And so these people who claim to be upon the way of the Salaf, they sign this pledge. And so from those people who sign this pledge are the likes of Yasir Qadi and Muhammad al-Sharif, and these two are the people who are behind Al-Maghrib Institute.
Jannah, my friends. Jannah,
And just because you're undecided doesn't mean you're not invited.
Al-Maghrib Institute. And likewise people like Tawfiq Chowdhury.
Has anyone attended that? You have attended. Do you remember how the course was? Man, it was it was, hey? So I don't know, I don't want to say anything, but I have my witness over here. and he will tell you how strongly I was against on the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah al Jama'ah. On the Aqidah Ahl Sunnah al Jama'ah is against the Aqidah of Ahl Bid'ah. How strong I was. Have I ever left the Aqidah Ahl Sunnah al Jama'ah? Anyone who says that, I challenge them to a debate immediately, right now, face to face.
Me? You want to debate me? Come and debate me.
I challenge them to a debate immediately, right now, face to face.
You want to debate me? Then debate me. And likewise, people like Abdul Rahim Green. And likewise, people like Abu Aliyah.
I actually believe in the fossil record of a fish becoming an amphibian and an amphibian becoming a type of pony or a horse.
Abu Aliyah, it was a name that you are familiar with. So all of these people, the point that I'm trying to make to you is that it's not sufficient for you to claim to be upon the way of the Salaf, because the Salaf have a methodology, there is a manhaj, and this manhaj is something that helps to protect this religion, because the way that the previous nations went astray, the Jews and the Christians, we know that they split into 72 sects and they lost their religion because the clarity in their religion was lost. If the truth is not made clear from the falsehood, and the people who carry that truth are not made clear from the people who carry falsehood, then there will be a blurring of the truth. There will be a blurring of the truth. And when that blurring of the truth occurs, this is when we get schisms and sects and differences and variation. And then this is how the deen becomes corroded. This is how the deen undergoes tabdeel, change. Sometimes we have to look at things from the right angle. And the angle here is that the actions of these people is treacherous. This is treachery. This is despicable. When you see how Imam Ahmad and the scholars of the Salaf used to treat the Jahmiyyah, you come along and you give these Jahmiyyah a lease of life. You say about them, I personally have no qualms considering these groups within the broad fold of Sunni Islam. That's Yasir Qadi. And likewise you say, I am eager to further my relationship with them. I sense a genuine spirit of Islamic brotherhood whilst amongst them. I wish the best for them and their da'wah. And their da'wah to denying Allah is above the throne. And their da'wah to calling upon people to make istighatha through other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am desirous to benefit from their wisdom and knowledge. This is a man
whom Allah has misguided upon knowledge.
And so you see, the point that I'm making here then really is that don't be deceived just because someone proclaims the Salafi Aqidah, because that is not what Salafiyah is about. Salafiyah is something above and beyond that. There is a methodology, there is al-wala, there is al-bara, and this is why you will find in the statements of the Salaf a firm principle that we judge people by their companionship, and we judge people with whom they befriend, and we judge people with whom they sit with and speak with and talk with. And that's why you will see now this individual Yasir Qadi sitting doing joint lectures with a Jahmi Zayd Shakir. And this is treachery to the religion. This is treachery. All in the name of what? Because they're claiming we see the situation is different in the West and there are priorities and there's this and that, whatever, and so they are using their own qiyas and their own aql in order to decide what is best for the da'wah. And they turn their back on the true scholars, the scholars who will actually tell them the truth and how da'wah is made.
The way I do all this is by gradually entering your heart through your weaknesses. Through what you love most, I attract you step by step. I beautify this world in your eyes. I make it magical. Hard to resist, tough to reject. Wealth, power, fame, and women become the center of all thoughts. The core that the whole world orbits around. I hypnotize you to run from one passion to another, committing evil endlessly. The more you people sin, the more I occupy your souls. And when you discover the truth that you became my slaves, you would be dead. If all these fail, I begin to plant fear and sadness in your heart. Poverty will become scary, so that you lie and cheat. I make you fear everything but God, except